Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. Towards the end of the book of John, we have a scenario in which Jesus appears to the disciples after his resurrection near the Sea of Tiberias. And there they come, and after he helps them bring in a big haul of fish, they sit around and they're eating breakfast. And Jesus tells Peter that, whenever he's young, he'll be able to go wherever he wants to. But when he becomes older, it says someone else will gird you and bring you where you do not wish to go. And he says, it goes on to say in verse 19, now this he says, signifying by what kind of death he would glorify God. And so here Jesus is revealing to Peter how he was going to die. Not so much specifically how he was going to die, but just the fact that he was going to die in a way that he would not have chosen on his own. And we do know historically that Peter dies by crucifixion and actually being crucified upside down, an excruciating death. But as Peter is considering this, he turns around and he looks at John, the Apostle John, and he says, Lord, and what about this man? So Peter's now heard about his destiny, and now he's turning to the Apostle John and saying, well, what about him? It's interesting the way Jesus answers him. In verse 22, it says, Jesus said to him, if you want him, or if I want him to remain until I come, what is that to you? You follow me. And I think this is a response that perhaps the Lord would give us oftentimes whenever we become too much distracted by how the Lord is working in other people's lives. And when we consider too much the experiences of others and wonder, what about them? And, sometimes we might be looking at other people's experiences with the Lord, maybe looking at their gifts and their talents, or maybe even looking at, how they might have a better go at life and things like that. And we can become overly obsessed with other believers and what they're going through. And the message that we would receive from the Lord is the same message that Paul received. What is that to you? You follow me. And so this is a good principle for us to follow. Instead of looking around at what other people are doing and how the Lord's working in other people's lives and the experiences that they're having or the gifts and the talents they've been given, instead of getting caught up in other people and in all of these things, it ought to be that we become focused and say, how can I follow the Lord? What can I do to bring glory to the Lord? I need to focus on my own walk before the Lord and not get so distracted in other people's walk before the Lord. And to really focus on my own discipleship and my own dedication to the Lord so that I can be the best disciple that I can be. And that's very important for us to realize. Perhaps all of us have experienced in the workplace, that one worker, if not many workers, who are always meddling in, how the boss is interacting with this employee, this other coworker, what this coworker is doing. Why does this coworker get to work this position or this in this area, but I have to work in this area, and things like that. And it just leads to a dysfunctional workplace, and it's not very healthy. The best thing for a worker to do is to show up to work, do the duty that is given to that individual, and just get busy doing what the boss has assigned you to do. And the same thing is true with the church and with the kingdom of God. We have to stay focused on our task and what the Lord has called us to do and fix our eyes on Christ, the author and perfecter of our faith, and not be so busy looking around at what's happening with other people. If we do that, then we get distracted, we become unfocused, and we can't really zero in on what God has called us to do and called us to experience. So let's take this story to heart and let's get focused again. If we've been distracted with how God is working in other people's lives, let's get focused again on what the Lord is doing in our life, and to get focused in following Him and picking up our cross and following after Him. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.